So, hello, fellow Earthlings. This is Earthling 64554633728, and Trisha Paytas on of Frenemies on Tigerbelly. It was an interesting listen and look. It was pretty cool, and I'll get into that in a moment. Of course, I am Earthling, yada yada yada. I'm an ex-Army reservist. I have a couple degrees, got a scholarship a long time ago to take care of that. Traveled a bit. I take care of my uncle who has dementia. I quit smoking and I've lost almost 100 pounds and I've kept it off for a while. So, I saw Trisha Paytas on of Frenemies, on the Tigerbelly show. And it was kind of interesting because, as it happens, I have watched Frenemies a lot. I thought maybe I was just watching for the meltdowns where Trisha and Ethan, well, I guess Trisha, really melted down and started getting really angry about things that Ethan had brought up. But as it turns out, I continued watching, maybe for the Halloween costumes and the after Halloween costumes, and for the stuff about David Dobrik, and I've just watched from time to time. And it was really interesting to listen to and watch the surprise and shock of Bobby Lee and Kalila as they heard about different parts of Trisha's life, many of which I already know because I've listened to so much of Frenemies. I don't watch every single episode. Sometimes I skip. Certainly I skip H3, but I used to watch their criminal court kind of things that they used to have. I don't know if they stopped that or whatever, but those were interesting too. But it was really interesting to see a different person's take on all of the different facets of Trisha Paytas's life. I mean, how she was so promiscuous when she was younger, and how she was an escort, and how she actually, I guess you'd say she was a streetwalker for a while. How, they didn't get into her, I don't know if she actually had a world record for speaking quickly and being on Ellen and all of this other stuff. But, and the fact that she has OnlyFans, how much money she makes or made on OnlyFans, it was really kind of interesting. It was like looking at experiencing the world through a child kind of thing. And the idea that Bobby Lee was thinking that he saw so much of himself, like a female version of, they've said this before for other people who've come on to Tigerbelly, but I don't know that I myself saw all the similarities between him. Well, the major similarity I think between him and Bobby Lee is, between Trisha and Bobby Lee, is the quest for fame. The things that they would do in order to get noticed, get attention. Like Bobby Lee mentioned the fact that he was on a podcast with OP and whoever, and somebody pulled out a bull's penis. I don't know if this was cooked or raw or what, but they spent 5 odd minutes discussing the details of Bobby Lee putting his tongue into the urethra of a bull's penis that was brought to the command room. I don't know what the room is called, and the dynamics, the I don't know the word of how much of his tongue he actually put into the bull's penis, how big a bull's penis was, him demonstrating it. So yeah, and of course Trisha on her side, she mentioned the fact that she had purported to be a Trump supporter for a while, and this was something that Ethan had mentioned, or rather something that they'd discussed, that I'd heard discussed on Frenemies previously, where she had pretended to be a Trump supporter, even though she says that she's not into politics. But, and she'd done other things as well. But as well as, I guess they did have a commonality in, is it a commonality? Well, Bobby Lee, they were discussing whether or not Bobby Lee wanted to know how to become an escort. And, Kalila was like, well, you could be an escort. And he's like, yeah, but I'm not gay. And Trisha's like, well, you've had gay sex though. And he was like, yeah, well, right, you could just, do it for the money kind of deal. So they were, what I was really pleasantly surprised, well, I don't know, surprised, but it was pleasant, was that they were so excited about having her come back on the show again. And I'm somebody who kind of looks sometimes at the length of time that Tigerbelly runs for. And, there was the last time, I guess, with that guy, that comedian, can't remember his name. Even though it ended funny, I think it was the longest Tigerbelly episode they've ever had. Um, and Bobby, of course, is like, I love you, and da 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 da. But anyway, this episode of Tigerbelly, even though they'd never met her, went for about an hour and 20 minutes. And, Kalila at least once or twice was like, and just this one last bit. And then Bobby Lee was like, no, we're done. We're done right here. At this moment, we're done. And I thought that was kind of cool because they said so many times they even wanted Trisha to come on Bloodbath as their first guest, or rather, Kalila invited Trisha to be on Bloodbath as their first guest, and maybe even sub for one of them if something was wrong, which I thought was kind of cool. I don't know why I watch Trisha, and maybe a lot of different people don't know. I mean, I don't watch Trisha on her own. Like, I'm not gonna go to TikTok. I watch her talk with Ethan, and they have like crazy number of views per edition, even when there's like more than two, well, more than one episode in a week. They still have crazy numbers anyway. But altogether, it was a nice episode. One with surprise, what I think was genuine surprise. One thing that Bobby Lee definitely has. I remember I think it was Larry King who may have said that the key to show business is sincerity. And once you can fake that, you've got it made. And Bobby Lee can honestly fake some good sincerity. And between his girlfriend, Kalila, pulling him up for things that, for leaning hard right, the way that someone like Joe Rogan might lean a hard right without having somebody right there on the spot to say, hey, like Bobby Lee wanted to compare cancel culture with the Salem witch trials. And of course, well, I don't know, of course, but Kalila pulled him up and said, like, you can't compare that because that was exclusively something that was abusing women. So cancel culture, it's not like that. And your therapist already reprimanded you for saying something like that. So that cut short his thing on that when he was asking Trisha about her opinion on cancel culture. As well as, Tigerbelly has on a lot of women. And I think that probably has a lot to do with Kalila. They have men on too, but I've seen a good bit of women on Tigerbelly. And it's, I guess with Whitney, it's almost predominantly women. I don't want to say predominantly, but a lot of women. And on Tigerbelly, maybe there's a mix because Kalila has a voice. She's not just there as window dressing to say she's a pretty face. She actually has a voice, and she can actually pull Bobby up and does pull him up when he is going over the line. Maybe it's that kind of balance that, people look for when they talk about having two parents in your life. But by and large, I wouldn't mind watching Trisha on Tigerbelly again. And I think that's why I hate to say that I like Trisha. I like what she brings. I like a lot of the stuff that she brings. She brings the idea that a woman can do whatever she wants. She talks so freely. She talks so freely that I think that's what people like. And for her, if there's anything that really is the biggest insult that you can do to her, the biggest way that you can insult her, is by limiting what she's allowed to say. And that's what happened. That's what happened on Frenemies. When Ethan would say, well, no, let's cut that out. Or we can't talk about Ela today, or whatever. That is really what would get Trisha mad. And I think that's what people like. The fact that she is not calculating. I mean, she speaks, she has a world record for speaking, and I don't know where she gets enough material, where she gets enough words to say in her head in order to be able to speak that quickly. Maybe she does it in bursts. I've never really paid attention. But when you speak that fast, you can't keep too much stuff in. She talks about her mental health. She talks about her operations. She talks about her relationships. She talks about the things that she's done, whether it's been good or bad, publicly. She says a lot of times, no, I've been wrong here. I've been made a mistake here, da da da. And I think that's what's nice. I don't know if I'm gonna get. I don't get fed up. Well, I don't want to say that I got fed up of Whitney, for example, but yeah, I don't. At least I'm not recommended, and yeah, maybe I should go look up Whitney. But I didn't like the fact that there was a conflict between what Whitney wanted to be and what she was. I don't know. But anyway, it was a good episode to watch Trisha Paytas on Tigerbelly with Bobby Lee and Kalila. I don't know her last name. Anyway, yeah, that's it for me. Feel free to dislike, like, all of that YouTube stuff. I should probably ask people to like earlier in the video. Anyway, please, if you, well, not please, but yeah, please, if you'd like to, be as mindful of the feedback that you give as the kind of feedback that you'd like to receive. Have a good one. Peace.